We begin tonight with news from our state capital. President Trump has announced that he will impose, in his words, large-scale fines against California. As we mentioned, it's in response to the Golden State's policy that allows transgender athletes to compete in women's and girls' sports. Reaction, as you might expect, is pouring in from lawmakers in Sacramento. 17's Capitol correspondent Eitan Wallace shares how the governor's office is responding tonight.
Could fines from the federal government soon be imposed against the state of California? According to President Donald Trump, the answer is yes. All of it stemming over the Golden State's policy allowing transgender athletes, specifically biological males who've transitioned to females, to compete in girls' and women's sports. Trump's announcement comes just days after 16-year-old Jurupa Valley High School transgender athlete A.B. Hernandez won 2 state titles at the California Girls State Track and Field Championships in Clovis over the weekend. In this Truth Social post, the president did not mention Hernandez by name, but did say this, quote, "A biological male competed in California Girls State Finals, winning big, despite the fact they were warned by me not to do so. As Governor Gavin Newsom understands, large-scale fines will be imposed." State legislators from both sides of the aisle weighing in.
I think the president was right to say so. This is an issue of fairness.
President Trump can threaten all he wants, but California will not cave to his bullying. Trans rights are human rights, and we will not back down from human rights.
San Jose Democratic Assembly member Alex Lee is a member of the California Legislative LGBTQ Caucus. He notes Trump made similar threats against the state of Maine, but when that state fought back in court, the Trump administration ultimately agreed not to freeze funds. Lee believes California could and should fight back and have the same outcome.
If Trump tries to bully California into surrendering our trans rights, he will lose even worse than with the state of Maine.
Legislative Republicans, though, say they believe Trump is right.
We're allowing biological males to compete against females. That's not right. There's compassion for all people that, that love sports and want to play. But we can't have an unfair situation where someone has a biological advantage.
Just last week, the U.S. Department of Justice announced an investigation to determine if California's policy allowing transgender athletes to compete in girls' and women's sports is violating federal law. It comes a few months after Governor Gavin Newsom on his podcast described it as, quote, deeply unfair when transgender athletes compete in girls' and women's sports. Since, though, his office has directed us to these remarks Newsom made on April 2nd.
This, I think, has been colored in and weaponized by the right to be 10x, 100x bigger than it is.
Should Trump follow through on his promise to financially penalize California, lobbyist and McGeorge School of Law adjunct professor Chris McHaley shared what that could mean for the Golden State.
The state of California gets hundreds of millions of dollars from the federal government. Primarily, those dollars are education, health and human services, and transportation. With the governor's projected $12 billion deficit, any reduction in federal funding, no matter the area, could have a significant impact on state and local government in California.
And we reached out to the White House to ask how much money will be withheld from California and which programs could be impacted, but we did not hear back as of news time. Meantime, Governor Newsom has not said how or even if he plans to respond to Trump's latest post. Reporting at the state capitol, Eitan Wallace, 17 News.